I often get the question, how long does a facelift last? It's a little bit of a hard question, but if you look at it as, we are moving along this conveyor belt of life as we get older, and essentially what a facelift does is it picks you up, it moves you back 10, 15, maybe even 20 years and sets you back down again. You're going to continue to move along, but you'll be way better off than had you done nothing. And so in one sense, it lasts forever, but in another sense, after 10 or 15 years or so, you'll look about like you did prior to surgery. Well, I had a patient come in the other day who illustrated this point perfectly. I usually see people regularly for up to a year after surgery, but after that, we tend not to see them back that much. But we had a patient from Washington State who I did surgery on almost 8 years ago. And I was doing surgery on her sister, so she came in and helped her kind of through the recovery process. And as I looked at her, I was just shocked at how well she's aged over the course of 8 years. Has barely descended at all. So let me kind of show you the details. We took pictures of her, but let me show you what this looks like. So this patient came in, she was 49 at the time that we did her surgery. Kind of a compelling story. She was a mother and had some kids later in life, and everybody thought that she was the grandmother. And so that was kind of the motivation of why she wanted to have surgery. Super healthy, active lady, wanted to still kind of do all these things with her kids. So we did surgery on her. This was in 2017. This was a year later, so this is her 1 year result. You can see, obviously, that her cheeks are nicely lifted, her jowls are completely gone, everything down in her neck is just tight. We'll post the full comport of the different views at the end of this video. In the after picture, her 1 year result shows just really nice lifting to the cheeks, jowls, down into her neck. This is her a couple weeks ago. So this is 2017, 2024. So this is almost 8 years after her surgery. Look at how it's held up. So look at that lifting to her cheeks. Come down maybe just a tiny bit, but way better than it was before. You can see what it did to her jowls. Look at how nicely tightened her neck is. And this is, again, many years after her surgery. It shows you a couple things. Number one, that even years and years later, you look so much better than you did prior to surgery. With a deep plane facelift, you get unbelievable longevity. It repositions the deep tissue that is what's descending over time as you age. It's not pulling on the skin. Skin's going to stretch out again. This is pulling on the deep tissue. It's releasing all of the ligaments out here into the cheek, and that's what creates longevity. So it just lasts for years and years later. The other thing that I thought was interesting is usually from 49 to 56 or 57, that's sort of the rapid descent phase of life, because this is when you're going through menopause, this is when hormones are all changing, and she should look significantly worse over the course of 8 years between here and here. And look at how much better she looks. I mean, she looks better than she did 8 years before. And yet she should have really accelerated along that pathway of life, that conveyor belt of life that usually happens. So I thought she was just a really compelling story of, number one, what do you look like as you age? Natural, like yourself, just a younger version of yourself. But the other thing is just to drive home the point of the importance of a deep plane facelift. It builds in longevity like this. This is how you get long-lasting, semi-permanent results. So anyway, thanks for listening.